Hi, my name is Tyler, and this is the Fox Valley Film Critics, and we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. In this special holiday episode of the show, we're going to be discussing a pair of Christmas films. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the show, brought to you by Groupthink Productions and FVTV. Joining us for the first time since season 1 of the show is Justin.
It is good to be back.
It's a rare sighting. Yeah. It's like seeing Bigfoot.
I know.
Especially for the Halloween, not the Halloween special, the Christmas special.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be
Christmas,
back.
darn it.
Oh, yes. Oh, much like Christmas Vacation, I am very stressed about the holidays. So,
that's a beautiful transition.
That. Oh yeah,
100% perfect. I hated it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and take the joyful hat off and give it to York for a little bit, because I want to talk more seriously about the fact that I did not necessarily like Christmas Vacation, and this is unprecedented because I usually do the second movie in these things, but I want to get the front load the episode with the Scroogeness,
yes,
and then talk about the fun movie that I think we both like the second one.
Oh yeah.
So. Everyone I've been told absolutely loves Christmas Vacation, except for a few people. And I watched it, and I also watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for the first time earlier this last month. And watching them back to back led me to a very unanimous conclusion that John Hughes hates all of his characters. But even in films he didn't personally direct, he hates all of the people that he is filming. And you can tell because the film just actively mocks them at every point. It doesn't like them. It thinks that everything they're doing is silly and arbitrary, and it just takes everything and says, "Oh, this is just plasticine and meaningless, and you all look like fools for trying to be a good dad, but you're actually a fool." And am I? Is that completely wrong?
No, I don't think so. I think. I think Christmas Vacation, when I first watched it as a young boy, I laughed because they were silly things.
Oh, it's funny. I'm not going to say it's not funny.
No, yeah, I know. There was plenty of silly things that were happening. But revisiting it, no one is treated very well. I don't know. I don't.
Hot take.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I laughed when I was a kid, but I chuckled a few times. And there was a few times where, like, the kind of iconic bits were that were funny, but I did not find that most of the sequences paid off. And the film is really just a bunch of tiny little, I don't know, it's like sequences that I did not find, incredibly interesting.
That was kind of the first vacation film too. But the first one, obviously, there's a goal involved. Is we got to get to Wally World. So every time they get these digressions, it just ends up being an impediment in the process of getting to Wally World, as opposed to this where everyone's there, and the impediment is just they don't know what they're doing, and the things that they're trying to do are either cynical or wrong-headed. Trying to put up 1 million Christmas lights, which ends up destroying the city power grid, amusingly.
Yeah.
Like in real life, there are real consequences to these sorts of things. Like when at the end of the first Vacation film, where he takes a gun and threatens to kill the Wally World security guard. Or towards the end of this one, where the guy they kidnap his boss. But
oh Lord, yeah.
These movies always get weirdly real by the end of them.
Oh yeah, which I feel like is slightly exaggerated. But I mean, in my family, we don't have a cousin Eddie. But we have people that come close.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, I think the scene that I related the most to is that scene where he shows up just randomly in the line of people as they're going down, and you're just like, wait, what? Who?
What?
Yeah. There's a lot of family members that if they showed up, I'd be like, how did you even know where I lived? First of all.
That was surreal.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Like, wait, what are you doing here? I haven't seen you since the last film.
Oh man, I mean, as far as yeah, I mean, did you feel like it deserves the kind of iconic status that it has?
I can see why it got it. I mean, the stuff it has that like the Gen X like cynical about your family's traditions like appeal to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could see the Clerks generation really being into this. Is like, yeah, tradition is BS, man. Doesn't mean anything. Hand me the cocoa. It's like it's got that like hard edge to it, where you got like it's like my parents promised me the world. Instead, they took me to Disneyland. I'm a boomer.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well, and when you texted me that you were doing this, you said Johnny Galecki was in it, and I didn't realize that until I watched it, and I was like, oh wow, that's a kid from The Big Bang Theory, except not as creepy.
Did I say that? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm forgetting, but
yeah.
I have a sugared out brain of a millennial, so I don't know anything anymore.
Oh man. As far as performances, I mean,
Chevy Chase this is peak Chevy Chase, so he's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember all the names of the actors because I don't recognize most of them, but they're fine. They work well for an '80s low budget comedy film. It's just, I mean, that's what they all do exactly what they're supposed to do, which is serve the director's vision. And I just find that vision somewhat very cynical. So that's the beginning and end of it. It's just, But I think recently there's been kind of a bit of a backlash against John Hughes to some degree, just to kind of re-examine his films and being like, these films are kind of rapey. There's some weird things in them.
Yeah.
There's Long Doc Dong doesn't hold up. For for obvious and maybe less obvious reasons.
Oh yeah.
But
well, yeah, and there is an oddness of I mean that scene in the department store where he's ogling over the whoever the jewelry lady the lady selling lingerie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean I think there's nothing wrong with that there, but I just did not find it. I don't
find him relatable.
Yeah, I don't find it funny.
Dude, you have a wife. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Ooh. I feel like my favorite characters though were the really old people, Aunt Beverly, and then her husband. I don't know. I feel like that was the best.
They're great because they just kind of there and they just.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, and they're clearly like wearing out the family. I love the scene where they're in the grandpa's in the son's bedroom. He's just staring up at the ceiling, and you see like the half naked woman on the wall, and he's just like, "What am I doing in this bed?"
Oh yeah. Well, I love the scene where they ask her to give grace, and she just does the Pledge of Allegiance. And there's a second where they're like, "What's happening?" And then they all go with it. Oh, that was good.
Which pays off at the end of the film.
Oh yeah, too. I know. That's so funny. Yeah. I feel like the in-laws could have been given a little more time. I just didn't find them as funny as I felt like there could have been.
It's all Griswold. It's all the main guy. It's all him because he's kind of the whole point of the series though. Is that he's the bumbling dad who wants to give everything to his kids that he never got when he was growing up, and he just makes himself look like a fool. So he puts up too many Christmas lights. He does everything but burn the turkey. I mean, he could have done that too, but.
Well, I mean, yeah. Who made it? Oh, his cousin Eddie's wife made the turkey. Oh yeah.
Good grief.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah. It's John Hughes movies. Like what was I watching recently? Well, we can talk about it in contrast with Gremlins, which was our second movie, which I think, as I said, we both liked a lot more.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into that quite yet. So I mean, what else is there about? Like, have you watched John Hughes movies a lot recently? Or?
I have not. No, not in a long time. But no, there is a sense in which movies that were made in the '80s do not translate as well to 2018.
Well, some of them do and some of them don't. I mean, we're still I think we're on the tail end of the '80s revival craze. Which I hope is gracefully coming to an end.
Hopefully.
I think it's just about hit its stride where everyone's just about sick of it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Stranger Things is probably going to end soon-ish. but
Well, who knows? But yeah.
and they just did kill every show at Marvel show at
Yeah.
Netflix.
No.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think.
it's gonna be 90s movies in a few months.
No, it is. Well, I mean, and I feel like this year 90s nostalgia was quite a big thing. Yeah, but I think the 80s is pretty much over. I don't think I think music will still be going back to the 80s, but even in dress and everything else, the 90s is coming back terribly.
Gracefully. I mean,
Yes.
I don't want to just say that all the bad comedies all the 80s comedies are bad. I mean, there was a great interview I was listening to with Tarantino talking about how he despises most 80s movies, and he's like, well, you know what? We were on a shoot. I forget. I think it was like either Death Proof or Inglourious Basterds. Like, and all of the crew were just running around and quoting Airplane 2. He's like, because the best 80s movies are comedies, because those are just those are super. A lot of those are super quotable, and it specifically quoted the scene from Airplane 2, where he throws his coffee and just off screen you hear my eyes. Like even the bad ones, there's all these amazing things in them.
Oh yeah.
And I will put the hat back on now.
Yeah.
Because I will say, sorry, Eric, with Christmas Vacation, I get it. It is very funny, and I will never take away National Lampoon's amazing legacy, because they made Animal House.
Oh yeah.
And they made other movies too that are very good. So.
But I mean, Christmas Vacation is at the end of the 80s. It's 89.
Was it 89?
Mm-hmm. So
I thought it was early 80s for some reason.
I don't think so. I think it was 89. And so you can see that, I mean, things quite changed soon after that.
That Simpson joke is like, we sold our minivan the day the 60s ended, December 31st, 1969. But so this is like the tail 80s version of that. It's like,
oh yeah.
Like we're gonna hit peak 80s, December 31st, 1989.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Decade ended that day, specifically that one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But what else good can we say about this that can justify the hat?
I mean, it's fun. I enjoyed myself.
We've said that 3 times already.
Yeah. But I don't know. But as a Christmas legacy, at least in my house, I don't feel like it deserved the place it did.
I want to watch happy Christmas movies. Like
when I found Gremlins to be joyous, and so I think there's something missing there when a movie can be pretending to be happy but not really. I don't know.
Well, I guess it's making fun of the whole family traditions BS stuff. So you go to the Christmas thing, and all your family is annoying you, and there's not enough beds, and the dad almost sets a fire and gets the SWAT called on him. It's it's just an average holiday.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, but I did find it weird that he was like, oh, the family's coming over. It'll be fine. Like, it'll be fine. And then immediately he's like, oh, God, I hate this. Like, he's the one who's convincing his family that his in-laws and the grandparents will be fine. But then they come, and he's like, immediately has nothing to do with them.
That's what they call a message.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's all the time we have for this segment. Join us for the following segment where we'll be discussing Gremlins. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We get to talk about a film I think we'll have more to say on.
Yes.
Time,
yes.
So, at least it fell apart in real time right before we quoted. So,
Oh yeah.
So I think the discussion I want to have about this is to what degree Gremlins is a Christmas movie. So
yeah.
I think, obviously it falls into the Shane Black Die Hard question of, is this a Christmas movie or not?
Yeah.
And as someone who is ironically wearing the Die Hard ugly Christmas sweater, I can affirmatively say that I do not believe Die Hard is actually a Christmas movie, and I like wearing, but I love wearing this ironically.
Yes.
So, but the case I always make is, what does the movie actually have to do with Christmas?
Yes.
So Die Hard, it's set at Christmas. Like all the Shane Black movies, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Lethal Weapon, they're set at Christmas. But I don't feel more Christmas joy watching those movies.
True.
I feel excitement and testosterone and things that action movies make me feel like. Like
Yeah.
if they suddenly set like Transporter 4 at Christmas, I wouldn't start feeling Christmas joy. I'd be like, keep headbutting people, Jason Statham. You're doing a good job.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that the movie is trying to say things about our culture, centering on Christmas, kind of. But yeah, I don't. I mean, I would say that Gremlins is more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard would be.
I can accept that as an answer.
In that, the movie is just a series of send-ups about the kind of archetypal movie plot lines. Well, I mean, you know, getting the creepy thing from Chinatown is one, but that's not really Christmassy. But the kind of the old lady in the bank who doesn't want anyone to feel joy and just wants more money and money and money.
Yes.
Is a very Scrooge-like character.
We should say this comes out of the 80s, another 80s movie. This comes out of the 80s post-E.T. Produced movies that he produced, like Goonies.
Oh yes.
So this is it. You can obviously, or Back to the Future probably. You obviously see his hand in this because he helps give it a really solid setup, and there's good characters, and like that. That's something a lot of those good 80s movies had, was that they have a very set of defined characters and very obvious like arcs and things going on, so that just so it feels really immediate. And with Gremlins, as you said, you see the archetypes playing out in real time.
Oh yeah. And I think it's funny to me to think that parents took their children to see this movie, thinking it was E.T. or something.
They have the little xenomorph pods.
Oh yeah,
which is amazing.
I love it. Oh man, and I found I don't know. I just found in everything, the way it was filmed, the choice of the camera angles and the way that the monsters just behave. I felt like it was just a very happy film. I mean, it was terrifying. And that scene where the mom comes down with a knife and is single-handedly, one by one, murdering the gremlins was honestly terrifying.
The scene with the bulldozer always gets to me. Like, like
what happened to those people?
Well, you know the answer. They just got crushed. They're dead.
Yeah.
That was the bank lady, right?
No, that was Mrs. Deagle. She flew out of her upstairs window after the gremlins messed with her stair chair. That was the bulldozer guy was the neighbor who was convinced that all the foreign-made home appliances or cars had been infested with gremlins, which I didn't know was real, but actually is real and was an actual myth after World War II.
So yes, hot take. You can. Yeah. Bulldozers are an excellent method to fight xenophobia.
Oh yeah.
Just destroy the house. Great. Done.
Yeah. Oh, no. But back to, is this really a Christmas movie? Would you say no?
You made a good case, but it's more so than Die Hard. But as I said, I don't know if I would call it. This is not make me feel in the joy of the season kind of movie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of quirky things in it, like the Gremlins. Like, even though they're evil and they do horrible things, they are very quirky and silly, and they like have like an underground society where they like wear sunglasses and do edgelordy things like smoke and drink.
Oh yeah. What do you think the Gremlins represented overall? Or do you think there was much thought put into that?
I'm sure there is. I mean, it starts out in Chinatown, so I think it's, responsibility, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and the ending kind of, he comes in, he's like, well, you weren't ready yet to take this responsibility.
Well, yes and no. Well, the only problem that they have with that is that the Gremlins themselves kind of instigate half of the problem. So, I mean, he has an accident where he spills the water on the first Gremlin, and then all of a sudden it starts multiplying rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
And then those Gremlins, they sabotage his alarm clock so that he breaks the rules.
Yeah.
So maybe the moral of the story is never ever make mistakes which is exactly the kind of thing you should tell a child, just to make them very well balanced and moral. So.
Yes. Oh man, I think I'd never seen this movie before I watched it for this, but I'd heard that there was some controversy over the Gremlins as being a stand-in for African Americans as being racist.
That doesn't. I don't
Which
see
I
it.
did not see that track. I feel like if it came out today, you could probably have an argument of that. I don't feel like that necessarily holds up.
But
an
they seem to
idea.
be like little like they're like bizarre creatures from the Far East as they're presented in the film.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't
think
don't
it's
see the
that- I
correlation
think it's that
between that and black people of
Yeah,
color, like white people.
that one bar scene. There's one gremlin who breakdances, but that was the only thing I could see that was
But
like.
they're just trying to be
equivalent.
edgy and cool.
Oh, I know. I think
I
it was
guess-
slightly silly.
Okay, let's just say
Oh,
they're
yeah.
culturally appropriating, and then the gremlins are the bad guys.
I mean, I loved though the practical effects of the gremlins.
Oh, it looks
I-
amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, almost how inventive. I mean, they found so many ways to murder them in beautiful ways. I mean, the first one is where she turns on the mixer, and there's one in there, and then she just cuts one, hacks it, and then the microwave. Lord, oh man, and then I mean, the Billy, the son, comes in while the gremlin is literally like on top of her mom, his mom, and then he decapitates one, which I feel like was great. And I don't know if you know this, but that and Gremlins and Temple of Doom were the movies that inspired the PG-13 rating.
That does not surprise me.
So there were some parents that were frustrated that they went to go see this cute movie about a cute creature during Christmas, and then, were presented with what they were presented with. And so Spielberg, having faced similar criticism for Temple of Doom, which also had a PG rating, suggested that they create something in between PG and R. And in 85.
It was Red Dawn, right?
Yeah, it was the first movie. Which, yeah, no, I didn't know that, so I found that interesting. Yeah. What, yeah, I mean, so you enjoyed it overall?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to see it a couple more times to give it whether or not I'd say I loved it or not. But this is my first time seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
I get so much crap for having not seen a lot of '80s comedies like this. Like it's like you
Yeah.
haven't seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. What do? Just living in a cellar or something. Like, well, that's an accurate description. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a feeling that growing up in the conservative household I grew up in, Gremlins was probably...
a little much.
Well, I think I remember walking through Blockbuster back when you would walk through Blockbuster for 2 hours, and I would say, "Oh, that looks so fun," and my parents would probably be like, "Oh no, that's no." Yeah, no, but I quite loved it. I know I felt festive afterwards.
Well, that's
you
one way to
can.
walk out
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
it. But
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it was enjoyable. I had a good time.
you didn't feel sad that they took his pet away at the end, just like.
Oh, I guess that was a little sad.
Like the one good one that's still
Yeah.
left.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen the second one.
I've heard the second one is very good.
Yeah.
Which is weird when I think about that. Is like, wait, you're telling me that there's a good sequel to Gremlins? Usually, what happens
Yeah.
is that they make immediate sequel, and then the quality starts dipping
Oh,
down.
yeah.
And by the time
Yeah.
they're at the third or fourth film, they're just in complete schlock territory. Like
Oh yeah.
Superman 3, and then like when we start getting into those, it's like, oof.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt as far as horror comedy goes from the '80s, I think Gremlins is up there.
Horror
least from what
comedy,
I've seen.
horror comedy is a weird genre. but-
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Man, what else is there to say? Yeah, I mean,
I've heard Critters is good.
well, and that was interesting. I've seen Critters.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Critters a Gremlins ripoff?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Which makes, Critters is one of those movies that me and my friends watched to make fun of it for being terrible, because we'd heard it was terrible.
But is it set at Christmas?
I don't believe so. I don't remember it being so.
Oh, that's a shame.
No. But there's no redeeming part of the Critters. They're absolutely terrible and out to kill everybody. Whereas we're supposed to believe that the Gremlins are,
They all like movies,
Fine.
and they're little troublemakers.
Oh yeah.
They're homicidal little troublemakers.
Oh yeah. Which I don't know how that guy kept. I mean, he kept it in a cage, but it liked him still.
You mean the first one?
Yeah,
or-
Gizmo. He was just
Well, it's
Yeah.
implied that the Mogwai are just fine before they start having their transformation.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah.
if you feed them or put water on them, then they start like transforming into little monsters.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, they're just fine. They're lovable. They like playing the drum.
They sing beautifully.
They harmonize amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, you know that Howie Mandel was the voice of Gizmo,
Really?
which I don't know what I feel about that. But, I also don't know what. Yeah, that's confusing to me. But oh yeah, yeah. I don't. Trying to think. Was there any other Christmas elements to it that we were missing?
I don't know. Well, I don't feel like this isn't A Wonderful Life levels of joy.
No, but that they do show clips from that in the movie.
Yeah, they did
And
that.
several
They
other
did
Christmas
in
movies.
Christmas Vacation too.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can tell like everyone in the '80s was just watching It's a Wonderful Life on repeat.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Either it's the most wonderful, sweet Christmas movie ever, or it's that cynical thing your parents make you watch to make you feel that life is important for some reason.
Oh yeah. Oh Lord. But I did find I don't know, the use of
We'll wrap it
Yeah,
up. That's all the time we have for this episode of the show. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. If you want to watch past recordings of the show, you can find them at the Groupthink Productions YouTube page. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at AntisocialCritI, that's critic without the C at the end. And you can find my written reviews at Geeks Under Grace and Legal Insurrection. I'm Tyler with the Fox Valley Film Critics. Have a wonderful day and a Merry Christmas.